Bitcoin price action audio wing doing absolutely nothing really. Now, is that true? Is it actually really doing well? Yes and no. We are basically still ranging in oblivion. At the top of the range, mind you, it could be worse. We could be way down. We could be all thinking the bull runs over and packing our bags, going back to Winnipeg. But as you can see here, this parabolic run here, use that term lightly, I suppose. We've basically given it all back. We went past the Siggity 1.8% fib right there at 106, came all the way down, touched essentially where we started here, way back when, last Monday, actually. So 8 days ago. A little bit of a bounce off the 200 moving average, which is, I mean, we're always going to do it. Every time we move away from the coast, the 200 moving average, we got to come back, refuel, dump off the garbage. You know, back in the day, cruise ships, maybe even to this day, I'm not sure, they dumped all their garbage in the ocean. They just like opened the hatch and dumped the garbage. Now, there were still rules to that, but you know, are they going to follow the rules? I doubt it. They got ports to get to. They can't just dump their garbage at these secure allotted places to dump your garbage. Why not just it's the moon's out, the night, no one's around, dump the garbage. That's what we're basically doing. We're dumping the garbage back at the 200 moving average, gaining a little bit of momentum. Now this is the channel of eternal monotony. So we are the upper east side of the channel of eternal monotony, which is good. I mean, this is an interesting thing. This channel of ascension, it looks like it's somewhat relevant. Do you know what I mean? It looks like, well, we just came out of it. Well, I extended it because I had forgot about it, right? So that's the beauty of the market memory. You can just extend these lines out and you will basically respect them unless it goes all the way. Whoa, no, I just screwed that up. Where was this one? I think right there. You can go all the way back to which was a bull flag, right? Now that you extend the channel of ascension out, having to crank, that's Bruce. It's got to be on your side, Bruce, because my audio is huge. It's almost, I'm not going to worry about it. And then, of course, we did get the breakdown because channels of ascension, what do? They generally break down. Now, we got the pump like we wanted to. Did we fulfill this? Yes, we did. Look at that. We fulfilled it. What did we say it was going to be? 109. And there we hit it. Took a while because we had another pump here, another channel of ascension. This one's too tight to really make a decent one. Morning, Bobby Hill. And then this was, of course, another bull flag. What did we say this would take the pull? You slide it all to the breakout point, and then we're all at 112, and boom, exactly 112. So it does play out every now and then. So, you know, it is show me the TA, show me the fundamental, show me the fundamental, show me the TA. You never know. One kind of scratches each other's back. But there we are. This channel of ascension goes way back, and we're still adhering to it. See, we found support here, bounced off her, came, looked for support again, broke through, looked for support down at the official support of the channel of ascension, broke through. So now we are trying to get back up and over our channel of eternal monotony. You can see we threw a long hair, don't care wick over right up to the channel of ascension support now, acting as resistance. Plus, that's the 50 moving average. Now, I would suspect things will start getting a little more exciting once we see the good old, what's going on here? The good old 20 moving average cross bullish over the 50. We can watch that. Maybe it'll happen there, maybe a little sooner. You know, you lose track of time when you're ranging in oblivion, right? Every day becomes another day at the same price. We're $1,000 where ahead we were yesterday. Did it move? Not really. We're going to be $1,000 different tomorrow. Will we think it moved? Not really. Remember when $1,000 was a big move? Big, exciting move. You would see thumbnails, you know, huge move in the Bitcoin market. Ray Fields, that thumbnail is horrific. Yes, it is. It is horrific. But see, that thumbnail, let me see here. I can bring it up. I don't think we'll just go back to it. That thumbnail, those were goths in my day in high school. And it was almost like, to me, my theory on goths, quick theory on goths before we go on to the daily chart, is that they were embracing outcastian metrics, if that makes sense. So what I mean by that, they were such social outcasts that they decided to brand themselves as such. So they, instead of being massive nerds, which were essentially what they were, / social outcasts. So they just didn't get along. Maybe they were as fat as that guy or girl, who whatever that is. And they decided to embrace it. Well, if no one's gonna, invite me to the parties, they weren't missing much, but that's a big thing back in high school, getting invited to parties. Why didn't you get invited? Did you get invited to Susie's party? It's over by the river. Her dad's got a lot of money. It's like an amazing house. Those were big deals. So if you don't get invited to those parties, they started to wear it, and they steamrolled out of control. And they would wear chains that were connected to their, knees, and, big boots with buckles. And they really liked the Smiths and Morrissey and Bronski Beat. What else did they like? Susie Banshee, if that was a band, maybe Susie Banshee. The Dead Presidents. Yeah, this whole genre. They had to embrace the genre. And just like anything else, they grew out of it. One day they took off those boots, buckled all 18 buckles, gone, and then put them in the closet besides the trombone and the karate suit, which they both don't use either. And it just became a thing of the past. But it's interesting now because I don't see goths. I guess today's modern goth would be the trans movement, maybe, or what are those? Are they gigolos? Those clown? I should look it up. What is a clown? Letterkenny Skids. JP, are you Canadian? Because skids was a term we used for headbangers. So in Saskatchewan, where I kind of went to elementary school, juggalos. That's right, E-Money. Juggalos. Bullish on Parade. Now we're going way back. Reminds me of a movie, Heathers, if you remember that classic with Christian Slater. Yeah, I wonder how classic Heathers is now. To say, I remember I loved what was the Christian Slater one where he was like a rogue DJ, and he was like, he got this voice or whatever. What was that one called? That was quite a classic Christian Slater movie too. Pump up the volume. That's right. Bullish on Parade. Pump up the volume. Anyway, JP, in Saskatchewan, headbangers were called skids. And then when we moved to Manitoba to go into junior high, people were calling skids headbangers. I had never heard of headbangers because they weren't used. It wasn't the term used in Saskatchewan, but it makes sense. It's kind of a weird name, eh? Headbanger. I guess they bang their heads on the stage when they're listening to Judas Priest. Anyway, that's about it for the 4-hour chart. Nothing really happening. What do we got to do today? We got to get over this channel of eternal monotony's Upper East Side resistance, which is at 105.6, where we're at 105.4. And then maybe, just maybe, let's extend this out here. Oh, that's the arrow. Come on. That's just the arrow. Extend this out. So getting above the 50 moving average too, that'll be a little bit of headwinds, and then up here at 107. And it makes sense. 107. Okay, look at the support here at 107. I didn't even check this out till I looked up on the big screen. 107. We got all these supports here. Boom, boom, boom. We consolidated here on our leg up, and then we came and retested through some wicks downs, got the bounce, got through some wick downs, got the bounce on the channel ascensions. Resistance now acting as support there. Went up, got the bounce, Then we bank that. So we'll probably get headwinds there too. That's a pretty important metric, 107. We'll see if we can get back into it. And then once we get back into it, hopefully, I don't know what it'll take anymore. It's funny because like all I see on my Twitter feed are companies buying Bitcoin. All day, air day, companies buying Bitcoin. So-and-so company is now having a Bitcoin treasury, bought $50 million. I know $50 million of Bitcoin is no big thing anymore for these treasury companies. But every day, these companies are buying Bitcoin. Now, there was a interesting... let me see if I can pull this up here. There's an interesting tweet, the way it was worded. Now, this will probably take me... It won't show it to me as I'm looking live. Because, now I'm going under the hood of my computer to look live. And this, it doesn't like the arrow up. Here it is. Oh, I found it. Let's see what happens here if I open it up. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Okay, now this was an interesting wording because you always got to see how they word it, right? Because there's a lot of these tweets run through a legal team, right? So they're adherent to all the weird SEC laws. Do they exist anymore? Do SEC laws exist? I'll say yes. I'll say a loose yes. Trevor says, bullish on parade. It will be a big deal to some kids in the future. You were born in the 1900s. No doubt, eh? Your grandpa was born in the 1900s. He lived through the internet before it became sentient. Now look at what this said. Just in, BlackRock deposits 1,249.68 Bitcoin worth, 131 million. Yeah, loose change. Into Coinbase. BlackRock deposits into Coinbase, totaling 5,300 Bitcoin worth $500 million. In 2 days. Now, deposit is the word, right? And then look what it says after that. While withdrawing 27,000 ETH, withdrawing. So what does that mean? You would think that the headline would say BlackRock buys 1,249 and sells 27,000 ETH. But the wording is very interesting and maybe more indicative of how price action does no respond to these big moves. So-and-so company buys this much Bitcoin, no respond. That's my Mexican my Mexican accent. So it's interesting as this is maybe more represents what's going on with price action. They're not buying, they're depositing. They're not selling, they're withdrawing. Now, the question is, well, what are they withdrawing to? What are they withdrawing to? So where are they depositing from? It's almost like an immaculate deposit and an immaculate withdrawal. They're immaculately depositing 1,240 and they're immaculately withdrawing. Where to? Don't ask questions. That's it for that. Stop asking questions. The daily chart here, as we get bigger, the charts get more boring because we see less action. So we have this channel of eternal monotony, bumping our heads up here. Finally, breakout up and over this channel of ascension. Let's see how far back we respect this one. All the way back to started March 25th. Now I'm having trouble figuring out what the hell day it is. It's June. It's the beginning of June. April, May, June. 3 months. So we've been basically in this channel of ascension for 3 months now. I mean, there's good news and bad news. Channel of ascensions, they generally break bearish. I don't know what the metric is. 70% usually coincides with fundies, fundamentals. But it would be completely normal for us to consolidate down here, maybe up until Friday. The Friday take us to where the channel of ascension meets the channel of eternal monotony. Then maybe we break out or break down from the channel of ascension, which we normally do, good or bad. Maybe not want to hear it, doesn't matter. That's the truth. And then if we break out and down of the channel of ascension and the channel of eternal monotony, we'll likely test first 99.5. Now, that's an important number, 99.5. We'll get to that on the weekly. That's why it's important. And if we can hold 99.5, get the bounce, well, we'll come back, right? But if we don't hold, we'll naturally retest the channel of eternal monotony's support. Because again, we're just ranging. So left to its own, like at this point, price action is like sleepwalking through the markets, right? Up, bumps his head on the support or resistance. Back to bed, down to the support. Oh, wait. And then goes back up. So we're just sleepwalking through these ranges. Nothing really happening. No massive breakouts. In fact, we just are retesting highs. Now, 112, it's exciting, right? But Bitcoiners, we're all Janet Jackson's. What have you done for me lately? 112, higher. Why not 115? Why not 115? Why 112? Higher. Now, so let's look for bounces and let's look for support at 104. Now, there's an interesting thing here. What did I see here? Oh, yeah, James Wynn. This is turning into such a psyop, in my opinion. I think we discussed it yesterday, how the A book and the B book. So these exchanges know all your data. They know all your KYC and they know all your take profits and your stop losses. They know how to get your money. It's like the simplest game in the world. So here he is. I get part of the things. I think there's some miscommunication. Is it 100 million? Is he on the line for 100 million Bitcoin bet? Because some of these statements factor in leverage. Like when he gets, you might think it's 100 million leveraged wipeout liquidation. He loses 100 million. Maybe that is true. I don't think it is. So I think we're talking about the hyperbolic aspect of the best case scenario and the hyperbolic aspect of the worst case scenario. Anyway, the fact that he's asking people to come hunt me. Now, most people wouldn't even think that's a thing, right? The normies, well, what does it mean hunting? Hunting is stop loss. As a stop loss, he gets margin called and liquidated for whatever he's put up. Now, is it 100 million? I don't know. But it's a weird sadistic game that's being played here that, it's got to make you wonder, like, what is he on? Hyperlink or something? Hyperscan or what is it? A multimillionaire cryptocurrency trader, James Wynn, has opened a second leverage Bitcoin position for nearly 100 million. So what does that mean, position for nearly 100 million? It means he can possibly make 100 million or he's on the line for 100 million. It's hard to understand what this is saying, really, if you really dig into it. Hyperliquid. Thank you, Trevor. 40x long. E-money, yeah. Well, what do you think's going to happen on 40x long when you're daring the exchange to liquidate you? They'll be like, oh, okay, let's go liquidate them. The trade comes less than a week after Wynn's previous 100 million position was liquidated. So again, 100 million position, 100 million bankroll, 100 million account. No, 100 million position liquidated on May 30 with the Bitcoin briefly dipped below a 10-day low of 105. So now I think it's 103 or 6 something. And then Wynn claims market targeting after liquidation. Following news of the second bet, Wynn alleged on X that his liquidation level is being deliberately targeted by major market participants. They're coming for me again, wrote Wynn, disclosing his 103.6 liquidation level in a June 2nd posting. Don't let these evil bastards liquidate me. Now, and then I think he asked for some money. I bet you there's people that are doing it. there's a lot of simps in this market. There's a lot of trading simps for sure that may actually give them money. Like this huge whale, they might send them money because they probably think that this is why it's getting psyopy. They think that they're fighting the big man, right? They're fighting the big man. To me, it's just almost almost a brilliant publicity stunt gone wrong or right. I don't know. Like this is huge, big, life-changing money for most people. Like make no mistake, $100 million loss. Like just it's starting to get the law of large numbers where it's mind-numbingly large, the amount of wealth that's lost. Yeah, instead of big pimping, big simping. Yeah, I see it sometimes on what's that guy's crypto face? Also a short guy. I saw him in Vegas. That's he should change his channel. To called Crypto Simps. It's amazing the comments in there. It's mind blowing. Anyway, that's another wormhole. Yeah. So this is just a weird psyop. It's kind of uninteresting to me because it's out of the realm of most people's imagination. $100 million bet. Now, when it comes to, let's say he's a degenerate, which he obviously probably is. He no, he wasn't wearing a mask, Bruce. He was wearing he kind of looks like a mob guy. Kind of long hair. I don't know, maybe balding a little bit. And he wore some big old 70s glasses. I think now it might not have been him, but I think it was because I've seen him remember Around the Blockchain? I really like that show. You're in the waiting room before it, and he is not wearing the mask all the time. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. Weekly chart. Now again, this is under market minutia, sleepwalking. The price is sleepwalking. We will normally sleepwalk and bump our heads into this channel of ascension, which is also a bull flag, but we'd have to change it because of this big dip. And then we would likely sleepwalk back down to this. Now, I put this in the members only picture, I think last week before Vegas, saying I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 99.5 because it's a 38.2% fib on the weekly chart based on this wick here. And outside of any massive market moves, like yesterday, there was a lot of Jerry Papow porn. He's gonna quit. I don't like. I've remembered to kind of mentally check for 1 o'clock what's gonna happen. I check the price anyways because it's just what I do every 8 to 12 minutes, and nothing happened. So I figured he didn't. He just was a bunch of financial rhetoric into oblivion. And I think that's what it was. And so nothing happened. But under normal market oblivion, we will sleepwalk and snooze and snore our way down to test support. Now, there is a small chance that we could go down to the 23.6% fib. This is a 50-50, whether we get this bounce, which would make sense because generally we've respected this. We've thrown long hair, don't care wicks underneath them. Boom, right here, right here, right here. And then found support on it on this weekly chart. So it wouldn't be surprising out. You can imagine all bearish hell would break loose if we were down under 100K. Because we lose $1,000 in a day and people are packing up and heading back to Winnipeg for the next crypto winter. So getting down to 100 would be hella bearish, but totally normal. Now, nobody wants to be down at 100K, but in the big picture, it's still not that crazy to be down there. Actually, pretty normal. Terry Crow, Crypto Face, kind of gave me a neg vibe a long time ago. Never seen him on my suggests anymore. Yeah, well, I mean, I think he originated what's Market Cipher? I think that's his thing. So, I mean, if he came up with that, he's no dummy. Definitely no dummy. But you can imagine how much money he makes on every affiliate click, affiliate click, affiliate ching, affiliate cha-ching. That's the real money coming in every day. Passive income. That's like the ultimate passive income. So yeah, he's definitely no dummy, and an interesting marketing tool. I think the way every time it's his things are suggested in my feed, I'll click on it and it'll be a static chart, no talking, no nothing, and just simps in the comment section. It's almost like a crypto traders only fans, right? Just put up a chart and not even say anything. It's pretty wild, actually. I can imagine him telling his friends what he does. You know, it'd be people wouldn't believe it, but it's true. So would that be crazy to come back to this channel of Ascension support? No. Would it be depressing? Yeah. Would everybody hate it? Yeah, of course. But I would assume we would get the bounce because we're sleepwalking and we're snoring through oblivion range, right? So it is a little disheartening to not get massive breakouts, so to speak. Like, as you can see, now we'll take it. We'll take a weekly close, a historic weekly close of 109. I mean, we've only, outside of that was way back here at 104. So that's $5,000 over the last historic weekly close. So it's might not be something, but she sure ain't nothing. But it doesn't get the blood pumping or the heart pumping and the blood boiling. Now, I guess the next bullish metric on this weekly chart would be to see price action close at or above the channel of ascension, which would be around 111. And at that, we could probably start eyeing the 115 mark. What is this? 117K-ish. What is this based on, I wonder? Let's go back. Is this bull flag? No, it's hard to. Oh, what is it? Let's go way back. Okay, let's follow it. It goes all the way, squiggles back to, holy smokes. Okay, this is pretty crazy. This squiggle started on March 4th, 2024. Holy shit, this is legacy TA here. Now I'm going to relive what I probably thought here. Well, I could see, you know, coming up here, maybe having a little dipsy doodle down to whatever this was, and maybe getting some consolidation back and forth, and then we'll kind of break out around here, which was September 24th. We didn't actually break out till November 24th, 2 months off. How dare I even make videos? And then we'll come up here and, you know, maybe go up and down, kind of build momentum. And then maybe hit some all-time highs and then shoot for the moon. Where's the moon? 117K. I'm thinking historical norm should go. Yeah. Old normie. You know, historical norm is funny because it's like I have this subscription to I don't know what it would be, like an assets page where you can like go. You see it in those AI videos where it's like they're talking about finance, and then you'll see two guys in a suits doing a handshake, or someone on you know, like all the stock footage, all of the doohickeys that I would put in videos, floating things like the Bitcoin guy flying around, and I would get that from Envato. Damn it, I should have an affiliate link to Envato. And historical norm is just a character on Envato. There's many. He's dressed up as a doctor. He's dressed up as a construction guy. He's, you know, in there shaking hands with people. He's in there dancing. You know, it's hilarious. I could make a whole channel based on Envato's representation of historical norm. Now, the funniest thing would be is if whoever that actor is, historical norm, to actually see his asset, you know, play out. But what I'm thinking is happening is that there's a production company that just, you know, shoots a million different assets and hires models and whatever. Envato, no, it's Envato. Envato. And it'll have all the backgrounds of like the finance stuff, numbers going up and charts and stuff like that. I don't really use a lot of it, but I use, like, let's say in a video I need the yoga girl, people walking across, that's all Envato stuff that I use. So yeah, here we are. This is what I expect to do. I'll just draw this in for see what happens. Now here's where we get support, throw a wick down, and then come back up again. That's what I'd like to see on the weekly chart. Now on the monthly, it's good news, and it's a little bit of bad news too, because listen, the good news is we had our historical. Do you have to pay every time you use an asset? No, you pay a monthly fee. I think it's like $20 or something like that. It's kind of reasonable, but like when I add up the immense amount of nickel and dime subscriptions that I have to keep, assets rolling, it's ridiculous. Because you need this for that, and then, I actually think DaVinci use discount Matty B. Yeah. Motion Array. Yeah, I've used Motion Array before too. It's similar. So here's the good news. We had an historic close above all-time highs. This is the highest monthly close in Bitcoin's histoire, 104.7. That is bullish. I'm not a big fan of the wick. It's pretty much, I would like, in order for me to start thinking parabolically that the move is about to happen, I would need to see a candle close above these wicks. Because outside of this, all it's telling me is that we're getting mega pushback every time we get up into this price discovery. We're not really achieving escape velocity price discovery. We're kind of hitting our head on these wicks and getting denied. So that's the bad news because of these wicks. So this is what I'd like to see. Next stop to escape velocity would be candle close at or above, let's just call it 112, because that would be doing a couple things to the market. It would be telling the market that we have now consolidated at all-time highs or previous all-time highs, and we are developing support at that level. So that will become our new boring level. The old all-time high is the new boring level until we get that. But that will also signal all the quant bots that it's time to buy. It's like, oh, the market's turning around. The market's getting bullish. And when I think about a bullish market, it doesn't make sense to me. There's a lot of things that aren't making sense to me in this bull run. And now maybe it is because of the institutional power that has come in that we've never seen before, because we're used to retail power, which is a little more finicky. It's almost like Cabbage Patch. Retail's like Cabbage Patch dolls and Rubik's Cubes. Like when we want it hard, and we all come in as hard as we can. Cabbage Patch, I need to get one. I will buy it from anyone at any price. That FOMO mentality that retail had, we don't really see it because retail's not here yet. Maybe they will be, maybe they won't. I'm not sure. I'm leaning towards no. And now there's a couple of good things and bad things about retail not coming in. Without retail coming in, we won't see what we normally called a blow off top, so to speak. That's where everyone's buying Cabbage Patch Kids and Rubik's Cubes. I gotta get them at any price. And then exit liquidity comes in and we get that parabolic blow off top. Without retail, I don't really see that. Now on the upside, there is a chance that frenzy, because frenzies also happen with big institutions. Once they catch wind that certain institutions are doing certain things, like buying Bitcoin, it may have this cascading effect. Now, however, they have different vehicles to purchase Bitcoin. They're not panic buying on Binance or Hyperliquid or whatever, they are usually doing OTC. So now where the formula gets skewed for me is that when you have whales, because historically these institutions were whales buying OTC, drying up the market, it would bring retail in to panic buy on the exchanges, right? That's important. Panic buying on the exchange. I think I saw Artie Hayes saying that it's a historic low volume. Well, it makes sense because the only people buying things are over the counter. So these exchanges are having very, very, very low volume, which means the retail isn't panic buying. So if we have all these whales / now institutions buying Bitcoin over the counter, and we don't have the 1-2 punch of retail, right? We need institutional over the counter drying up the supply, jab, and then we need retail coming over with the panic buy. And without that, I don't think we'll see these massive candles get printed. We will probably see, now it's not a bad thing, but we will see the price. Holy smokes. We'll see if the old voice is ready for the weekend. It'll have to get to a point where it either recovers or it'll be a hard reset. Might have to just not talk for a couple of weeks. But I'm going to stay optimistic. I say this mantra when I'm in the steam, when it comes to health and voice. I say this. This incredible vessel. I go like this. I point at my body. This incredible vessel bestowed upon me by the infinite knowledge of the Creator himself is the most absolutely amazing healing apparatus in the entire universe. Every day it goes in from head to toe, heals me to 100%. And every day I'm a little better than the next. Today I'm a little better than yesterday. And tomorrow I'll be a little better than today. Now, the reason why I say a little better is that you can't be delusional with your own. It's funny coming from me because I'm hyper delusional. But when it comes to small accruing gains, your mind and your imagination can understand small events rather than, I'm going to win the lottery, right? That's what I say every day to get the throat back to health. We'll see. In my steam, what was I talking about? The monthly chart? I don't know. Make sure you like and subscribe.